Hello, and welcome to Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, where we get to have deep intellectual conversations with high-minded individuals right in the smoothest city in the world, Rochester, New York. I am your very knowledgeable host, Sony Blaze, and welcome back to Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. Today on Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, we're having a very deep convo about letting them go. It's going to hurt when you let people go, and even though you do let them go, and it does hurt, the pain shall pass. Right up next on Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. After these breaks. What up? Welcome to my corner of the universe. If you want to sit there and advertise for Deep Talk with Sony Blaze and have your products or services be placed here, let us handle it for you. So it doesn't matter if you're a small business, you're a big business, you got products, artworks, whatever it is, let SBC handle your workload, okay? Let us handle your workload. So go ahead and email us at sonyblazecorner.com and we'll get that to you as soon as you can. Peace. Welcome back to Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, when we get to have deep intellectual conversations with high-minded individuals right in the smoothest city in the world, Rochester, New York. I am your very knowledgeable host, Sony Blaze, and welcome back to Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. So, we're on episode 6. 6 weeks straight of Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. And I have to say, I am deeply enjoying and very invested in Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. So, just now, we just got done with the whole month of starting all over. If you do want to actually go ahead and see that, I do have a playlist that goes for season 6, because season 6 is going to be all its own playlist. So it's going to start from episode 1 on season 6 to episode 5 where we at right now. Well, actually we're on episode 6 because you see my beautiful mug. So anyways, before we continue on talking about this past month, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sony Blaze. I am a content creator, a podcaster, and a little bit of whatever you want to call me. Like, just think of me as Sony. Sony Blaze. Also a gamer as well, too. But anyways, we'll continue on the conversation of myself, but let's get back into the month that we just had. So, July, I have to say, has been a very eventful month for me. And the main reason why, because I actually decided to get back into Deep Talk with Sony Blaze and get back into content creation and whatsoever. Now, before I dive deep into Deep Talk with Sony, dive deep. What up, though, man? You know who you are. And also, I do want to actually give a shout out to Infinite Waters, though, because also watching that individual, that brother, it got me towards to get to really shape up even more of Deep Talk with Sony Blaze and whatsoever. So, anyways, back to it now. Before I really got back into Deep Talk with Sony Blaze and whatsoever, there was a few times I was trying to get back into it, but I couldn't. But then before then, I was doing what I'm trying to get to, live gaming, streaming. There it goes, streaming with gameplay and whatsoever on Twitch. If you do want to actually watch me on Twitch, I will put a link down in the comments, not in the comments, in the description. If I actually remember, most likely I probably will remember, because if you probably noticed within this episode, a lot of things have changed. Like, for instance, that right there. You see that? It was just nice and just big. Look at that. So anyways, to continue on, back to the story. So I was going through with, doing Twitch, and, I do make a little something in Twitch. So broadcasting Twitch, and then recently, my niece had a a graduation, so we all was in the graduation. And while I was there, I was just really thinking about like, man, what can I actually do right now? Even, I mean, yes. Well, first of all, I was sitting there giving myself a pat on the back, and I do apologize for the the noises, whatever. So giving myself a pat on the back was like, even though it's just $1, less than dollars, in between like 50 cents to $1. At least I ain't making something on Twitch. I was sitting there just thinking about like, man, this is like how it's going is pretty slow, and I want to actually do a lot more, and and really pull up the volume up towards 100. Mainly what I'm saying is, I wanted to do a lot more and actually gain a lot more. So I was in there having a conversation with my siblings and whatsoever. And while I was having a conversation with my siblings, to let them know about deep, not deep talk, let them know about the Twitch, and that I'm actually slowly getting there. Then the ideal started to slowly pop up, because then I was like, you know what, I could sit there, then put some ads on a show that I used to do, because I did it, and I did it pretty well, and blah. It was, long story short, for that part, it was Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, and I was like, you know what, I want to go ahead and bring back Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. So that's what I mainly did. I just after the celebration and stuff like that got over, we went our separate ways, and then I started to actually start thinking deeply about Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. And then bam, I just thought about it, like, because I didn't exactly know what type of episode I was going to do, or what type of content I was going to do for Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. But luckily for me, I already put out the outlines exactly for Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. So I went in, using the knowledge and skills that I've gained, learned, and had from doing Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, and also learning from other shows and productions that I've seen, that I learned once again and use for Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. And then the idea popped up. I was like, since I'm starting again, let's go ahead and do an episode of starting all over again. And instead of just doing it for one episode, I was like, you know what? Let me do it for a whole month. And that's how it all started. I was like, yeah. Now, obviously, that first episode, it wasn't as good looking as this right now. And as you can tell and hear, that from episode 1 to episode 6, I was getting a lot better and better and better. Now, obviously, I'm not saying I'm like at that point that I'm like, great at it, good at it, or just like a real good podcaster and, doing the damn thing whatsoever. I gotta put this down too. Oh no, I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, I'm at this point now that I can easily say without no issue, without no problem, that yes, I can easily put on a show, hold it down, and actually have some interesting topics. So, other than that, this is what I want to tell y'all before we get on break, because it's almost time for break time. This is what I want to tell anybody who's out there, who's listening to my words, who's actually watched the podcast or listening to the podcast. First of all, thank you very much for joining my corner of the universe. I deeply appreciate it. Seriously, I deeply appreciate it, because this is the thing. I want to do this full time. I want to be able to actually do this, doing a video with my boxers on. Don't worry, people. I got pants on today. But anyways, back to what I was getting at. So for anybody who's listening, though, man, whatever that you got in your mind to get in here, that in your head, in your mind, or in your heart, that you want to actually go ahead and put out, but you're not sure to put it out, go ahead and just do the work. Put it out there. Just put it out there. Put it out there. Put it out there. Put it out there. Because you may never know who's waiting for you to make that extraordinary content for them to have a better lifestyle, a better time, and whatsoever. So, and it might not even be content. It might be something as simple as you making food, or you a painter, or you cutting grass, whatever it is, whatever that you got, there's somebody needs what you have. There's somebody that's out there who truly needs what you have. So it'd be a disservice if you don't actually go ahead and put it out. Now, I'm not saying you have to go ahead and do it and put it out, but from experience, from what I'm doing now and from the past, there are people who's out there who needs your words, who needs your work, who needs that pie, who needs that grass cut. And I'm not saying it as a, best way I could say, I'm not saying it as a as something, you know, funny or not honorable. My words got a little twisted, but saying it as something that's very important, because there's a lot of people who tend to make fun of, pick at people who do, you know, the weirdest or the littlest things with great gusto, with, you know, great skill, and since it's not in their standards, but it's on your standard, they just sit there and make fun of it, and then you tend to just be like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, and yeah, it's just, and it sucks. So don't listen to them. Yeah. But anyways, that's about it for this segment of Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. And right up next, we're about to actually get straight in to the main subject of Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. We'll be right back after these break. Peace. What up? Welcome to my corner of the universe. If you want to sit there and advertise for Deep Talk with Sony Blaze and have your products or services be placed here, let us handle it for you. So doesn't matter if you're a small business, you're a big business, you got products, artworks, whatever it is, let SBC handle your workload, okay? Let us handle your workload. So go ahead and email us at sonyblazecorner.com, and we'll get that to you as soon as you can. Peace. Hello. Welcome back to Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, where we get to have deep intellectual conversations with high-minded individuals right in the smooth city in the world, Rochester, New York. I am your very knowledgeable host, Sony Blaze, and welcome back to Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. So, today in Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, we're getting into, and this month theme is about letting them go. Yes. Let's go ahead and get into the conversation of letting them go, man. So that's the thing about it, though, man. Letting go is probably one of the hardest things as humans we can actually possibly do. Not just for us, but for the individual itself. Letting them go. It could be many reasons why, and it could be from many different types of relationships and whatever it is. It could be a romantic relationship. It could be a familiar relationship or a family relationship. It could be friendship. It could be work relationship. It could be many different reasons, many different types of relationships. But doesn't matter where it is. When it's time to actually let them go, you have to go ahead and just let it go. Let it go, let it go. I never watched that movie, so but anyway, but besides the besides the nice little joke, it's not really funny, and it could be very painful once you get towards that point, because a lot of times, especially for a lot of us, we probably spend a lot of time with that individual, and like I said, it could be any type of relationship. So it don't have to be in particular love. It could be just a friendship and whatsoever. But anyways, we probably spend a lot of time with that individual, and we probably tend to speak about different things with that individual. Like there's things that you could probably say, or individuals. It don't have to be just one, but there's probably things that only you in that individual can actually speak about, and many memories in many situations that y'all have been through, but now you're gonna have to let them go. And I won't say particularly act like they're a stranger to you, but the simple fact that this you cannot have that same type of relationship, friendship, partnership that you had with that person before the now versus now, because it all changed. I don't know what may have happened to you and that individual, but for the simple fact that you have to let them go, you just have to let them go. I mean, you probably wouldn't be even watching this video right now if you didn't have to sit there and just let them go. And let's be real, letting somebody go is one of the hardest things you can actually ever do. I mean, seriously, it's probably hard for you to do it. But when you're letting them go, man, it might be probably the best thing that you can actually do. So, like, let's say for instance, like maybe one reason probably why you let them go is because maybe they kept on doing something that you're uncomfortable with, and you kept on telling them, hey, I don't like that, can you please stop? But then they continue on doing the same thing over and over again until it gets to that point that, you know what, I don't think we can sit there and be friends anymore, and you have to let them go. Like I said, many things may happen, but yeah, it's sad, but that's how life is. That's how things can get, and I don't know what to say about that whole thing. All I can say is it's just it sucks. It really does sucks. It really does sucks. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. Now, after me saying that, see, the thing is, one of the hardest things in life, one of the hardest things you can ever do, one of the hardest things that you can ever do is letting that person go. Because like I said before, let's think of it as somebody who was in a relationship. Maybe you was in a relationship with somebody. Maybe is your husband or is your wife, whatever it is, and y'all probably was with each other for many years. For many years, 3, 5, 6, 9, 12, whatever. What I'm saying is, yeah, y'all was married. Y'all had a relationship for many years. Y'all probably have kids, maybe not, but y'all grew together. Y'all did a lot of things together and whatsoever. And then maybe one day something happened. Maybe y'all had a disagreement, and maybe it was probably at first maybe it was a simple disagreement, but then that simple disagreement grew, and as it continued to grow, y'all began to argue a lot more and more and more till it gets to that point that y'all values, y'all views are different, and then you're gonna have to make that choice, because if the way how it looks within the relationship, it looks like it's going to continue to crumble and get worse. So you're going to have to sit there and like dig deep, like really dig deep within yourself and be like, okay, this is not looking good. This is not looking good at all. And you have to sit there and make that decision, be like, okay, so since our relationship is getting towards that point, I think it's probably best to sit there and let our relationship go. And like I said before, that's probably like one of the hardest things to actually truly do. Because the thing is, you're not, yes, like it seems like cutting people off, like for some people, it seems like cutting people off is like one of the easiest things to do, and to be like, bam, cut off. But that's far from the truth. Especially there are probably some people who sat there and thought about it, for a very long time. But to get back to it, while you're sitting there making that decision, you can be like, you know what, it's probably time for me to let that person go. You start to go through memories. It's like, oh man, I remember me and this person did that and blah, blah, blah. And things started to come up. And let's be real, you probably get cold feet. You be like, you know what, I can't do that. And it gets really hard, and you be like, man, I can't do this. It's like one of the hardest things. And that's why I say letting somebody go is one of the hardest things to do, because you have so much memories and experience for that person, but then when it's time to sit there and let them go, you don't know what to do. You really don't know what to do, and you sit there and you're like, man, this is probably the right decision and the wise decision, but I don't know what to do. I can't just sit there and let them go. But that's when it comes down to this right here, okay? And I want you to really listen to these words. When you're letting somebody go, when it's time to really truly let somebody go, you're not letting them go for them. You're letting them go for you, okay? Let me say this again. When you let somebody go, you're not letting them go for them. You're letting them go for you, for your peace of mind. Because it gets down to it like this. All right, first of all, like I said in the last episode, when it comes to like happiness, it's like a trap. Because see, the thing is, it's like a scale. Like, there's happy, and there's despair or sadness and whatsoever. And it's like a balance, when one's up, one's down. But then, since it's like a scale, eventually something the other got to go back up, and the other one has to go down. So in a relationship, you're going to have those, times that the ups, just the ups and downs and whatsoever. So even though you may be unhappy in a relationship, you can still work out, because it shall pass. But when I say you have to do it for you, you have to do it for your peace of mind, because that's the thing, for your peace of mind, to have that peace of mind. Because it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard within that relationship. But if you have peace of mind, then you can easily flow to it. But if it gets to that point that it rocking your peace of mind, then you may have to go ahead and really let that relationship go. Now, that's probably something that a lot of people don't really want to hear. A lot of people just want to want to actually try to work it out. But if it's for your peace of mind, then you might have to sit there and let them go. You really might have to just truly let them go. Now, obviously, especially if you're having this issue right now and you're trying to make a decision, first of all, I'm not telling you to go ahead and just let the person go. Those are not my words right now. All I'm just saying is, all I'm just putting out, like, if you end up letting a person go or making a decision, this is what you're going to have to deal with in the aftermath or in the process. Once again, I am not telling you to go ahead and let the person go, especially if you have a relationship that's over, or like a friendship, relationship, partnership that's over a few years old. I'm not saying go ahead and just throw it all away. No, no, no. But I will say this. If it is disturbing your peace of mind and you think that is going to get worse, then if you think that's the wisest decision, then let them go. Then let them go. And always remember, you're not letting them go for them. You're not letting them go because what they have done or whatsoever. You're letting them go for yourself, for your peace of mind. So you can sit there and breathe and whatsoever. Just do it for yourself. All right? Anyways, thank you for joining my corner universe. We be right back after this break on Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. What up? Welcome to my corner of the universe. If you want to sit there and advertise for Deep Talk with Sony Blaze and have your products or services be placed here, let us handle it for you. So doesn't matter if you're a small business, you're a big business, you got products, artworks, whatever it is, let SBC handle your workload, okay? Let us handle your workload. So go ahead and email us at sonyblazecorner.com and we'll get that to you as soon as you can. Peace. Welcome back to Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, where we get to have deep intellectual conversations with high-minded individuals right in the smoothest city in the world, Rochester, New York. I am your very knowledgeable host, Sony Blaze, and welcome to Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. So Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, we're having a deep convo about letting an individual go. So we're just slowly getting back into, we're slowly getting back into the conversation. And earlier we was just, talking about why you letting somebody go, and the reason why you should let somebody go is for yourself and whatsoever. So, anyways, also as well as this month, with this month of August, we're going all in of letting people go. That's the theme of this month, is letting them go. So this is just the first episode we're about to get into, yes. And let's see if I can actually really handle this too. So anyways, yes. And also, this is a very serious topic, but then also I will try to, keep it, light as well too, because I don't want it to be all, down and out and whatsoever. I want to, keep it balanced. You got to keep the balance, and that's the one thing I'm learning as well too, is to actually keep the balance of things. And also, if you miss an old episode Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, not to worry, there's going to be a link down in the bottom, or you could just check out the playlist on YouTube. Okay. Anyways, let's get back into it. So, anyways, letting them go. There are many different ways why we let somebody go. Many different ways. I mean, like, for instance, if it was like a relationship, maybe in a romantic relationship, that's the one I want to get to. Maybe the reason why you let your partner go is because maybe their attitude changed. Now, first of all, when you with somebody and you with them for a very long time, they're going to change. And, that comes with it when it comes to life and when it comes to being with a partner for very long. Now, that within itself, you shouldn't sit there and just let them go just because of that. But there could be a really good reason why that you had to let them go, because of their attitudes and whatsoever. But that's like a few ways. And maybe sadly enough and fucked up enough, they could have cheated. And that's a romantic, relationship. Or maybe, like, if it was a friendship, maybe a friend probably betrayed you and basically stabbed you in the back, and that's why you probably had to let them go. So, like I said, there's many different reasons why you will let them go, and why you have to sit there and tell them, you know what, we can't, be friends anymore. We can't sit there and be lovers anymore. You can't be, my wife or husband anymore because what you have done. And a lot of times, and probably the main thing that a lot of the reason why that someone will let someone go or you let someone go is because of trust. It's because of trust. Trust is probably one of the biggest things that's out there. Because let's really think about it. Because amongst many things, because there's a lot of relationship where people who sit there and cheat and then come right back to the person and they fix it, fix the relationship just like that. I mean, or friendship, just like what I was talking about, stabbing in the back. But then a lot of times what really ends a relationship is the trust. Whatever trust that is built on is trust. Now, what type of trust? Because I believe it's probably different types of trust or trust levels, where that's when it comes to the point that an individual be like, you know what, I can't trust anymore, and they break it off. Whatever that trust level is, I don't know, because I don't know, because there's levels to this shit. There's levels to this shit, and it happens like that. It happens like that, and while all that happens, and while you're about to make the decision of letting the individual go and telling them, you know what, I want to call it a quits. It's like this. Once it's time, a lot of people think like, yo, man, you done this pretty easily. And one thing a lot of people have to understand, once you at the point that you must let the person go, the thing is, like, a lot of people don't understand that when you let someone go, it's never easy. It's never the easy thing to do to let them go. I'm gonna say this like this so in a little clearer, but letting go is never an easy thing to do, because like before, like I was saying before, you could have built up a very what's I'm trying to say, but mainly you built up a very great relationship with someone, a partnership with someone, a friendship with someone, and y'all been through thick and thin and whatsoever, and y'all told a lot of secrets to each other. Y'all did some fucked up things with each other. Y'all did some very great things with each other, and basically what I'm saying is y'all went through the ringer with each other. Y'all went through a lot of shit with each other. But then once something happens and then they sit there and break that trust, and once that trust is broken and you have to make the decision to let them go, it's never fucking easy. It's never fucking easy. Like, cause the thing is, first of all, when you at that process of letting them go, you're already thinking about like what that other person is going to think of me while I'm sitting there doing this. Even though I'm doing this for myself, what is this person going to think of me and of me doing this, and why I'm doing this for? And then you probably sitting there thinking about like, do this person even know why I'm doing this for? And then maybe in your back of the mind be like, okay, maybe if I sit there and do this, maybe they're going to sit there and be like, okay, maybe I did something fucked up and then change, and then we don't have to do it. But then, and within your heart and also your wisdom, it's time to sit there and let them go, because if I don't let them go, it's going to continue to be a problem. And you go through your head, and you have to go through a lot of processes and decisions until you have to make that ultimate decision. Be like, okay, maybe it's best for us to just let it go and just drop it. Like I said, like letting somebody go. It's never is an easy thing. Never is an easy thing. It's never is an easy thing. Never is an easy thing. And while it's never an easy thing, and one thing you gotta realize, once you let them go, it's going to hurt. There is, I can't remember where I got. I think it was it you, Steven Universe? I don't watch Steven Universe. I'll be watching a lot of YouTube, and I seen stuff like that. But or maybe it was something else. I don't think it was you, Steven. It was some. No, it wasn't Steven Universe. But anyway, to get back to it, it was a cartoon. I know it was a cartoon, but the person said there is no easy lessons. There or something like it was something around those lines. They're like, what I'm trying to say is, nothing in life is just real easy. Like, and letting them go is not something like that anybody could easily do with ease. It's just like cutting off a limb or something like that. It's like, especially if the limb may cost you death. To make the analogy makes more sense, we're gonna say death. And the thing is, and the only way to save your life is to cut the limb off. And the thing is, once you cut it off, it's not going to be like, even though you cut it off and save your life, it's still going to hurt because you cut off a limb. So, what I'm saying is, once you let somebody go, it's not an easy thing to do because you essentially cutting a limb off. Because I remember, like, I remember hearing this. I guess it's from Greece or something like that. And also, once again, I'm referencing Infinite Waters because they was just talking about that. Like, humans, as quoting, humans used to be one being. They have 4 arms, 2 heads, 2 hearts, and blah. But mainly, what I'm saying is, it's just like the humans in the old days. Like, and especially if you just cut them off, you're going to feel that missing part. You're going to feel that missing limb, that missing substance, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is, it's missing and it's gone. And that's probably a hard thing to actually really deal with when it comes to letting people go, because once you let them go, you're going to feel that pain and you're going to feel that void that has been left after you let them go, though, man. You're going to feel it. But anyways, that's about it for this segment of Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. So we'll be right back after these breaks on Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. What up? Welcome to my corner of the universe. If you want to sit there and advertise for Deep Talk with Sony Blaze and have your products or services be placed here, let us handle it for you. So doesn't matter if you're a small business, you're a big business, you got products, artworks, whatever it is, let SBC handle your workload, okay? Let us handle your workload. So go ahead and email us at sonyblazecorner.com and we'll get that to you as soon as you can. Peace. Hello. Welcome back to Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, where we get to have deep intellectual conversations with high-minded individuals right in the smooth city in the world, Rochester, New York. I am your very knowledgeable host, Sony Blaze, and welcome back to Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. Today on Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, we're talking about letting someone go. So in the last segment, we just mainly was talking about, different reasons why you let someone go. And to be straight up, when you let them go, it's going to hurt. And there are never painless lessons. That's what I was trying to say earlier. There's no such things as painless lessons, because that's when it comes down to, like, it's going to be a painful lesson, and there's like really truly no painless lessons that's out there. I mean, there's going to be lessons that won't hurt as much, but there's no such thing as painless lessons, though, man. So, yeah, man. Whew. So let's really get back into it, man. Like, we're in our last section of Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. We're almost there, and I have to say, this one's been a tough one to really just get into and whatsoever for Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. But we're going to keep on going, especially because this is going to be a month thing, and since this is the theme, this August theme of letting go, we're gonna keep it going. So, anyways, it's like that. Now, after you in the process of letting someone go, or you let someone go, and you feel the pain. The thing is, like I said before earlier, it's going to hurt, and you could hurt really bad, or it might be as bad, but it's going to hurt. But the thing is, just like storms, when the storms comes in, rains everywhere and whatsoever, but the storm shall pass, and as well as the pain shall pass. Because let's see, a lot of times when we let someone go, and after we let someone go, we'll feel the effect, the void that's left after we let someone go. And a lot of times we probably use substance. We probably use many things for us to try to numb the pain, just so we can sit there and live our lives as normal as we can. Now, I'm gonna say it like this. Now, I understand why you do that for. And I'm not gonna sit there and just judge anybody if that's what they do to try to numb the pain or make the pain a lot more easier for them to go through. But please, if you're listening to this words and you're having this issue right now, and I'm not going to say issue, but you're dealing with this right now, just hold on, because the pain will go away. It shall pass. It may take a little bit of time, or it may be pretty quickly, but it shall pass. Just like everything in life, it just shall pass. That's how the universe works. Everything passes. Everything goes. Everything changes. One of the few constants within the universe is change. One of the few constants is change. And once you're in that pain, if you just wait long enough, it just goes away. Well, but the thing is, obviously, even though the pain will disappear, doesn't mean the effects won't be there. It's still going to be there, and you're still probably going to have to deal with a few things. You're still going to have to deal with a lot, but when it comes down to it, it's still going to be there. There's still going to be those after effects and whatsoever, and it sucks. Yes, it does, but at least you don't feel that pain anymore. And the thing about that as well too, because like I said, after the pain goes away and you're still left with it, what it is experience that you gain. And that's the thing right there. The experience that you gain and learn from letting that individual go or whatsoever, use that for yourself, okay? Use that to build yourself to be a better person. Use that to learn and know where once you go into another relationship, or maybe go back, if you forgive the person or whatever, go back into the same relationship, you know what's the signs to actually watch out for, because it could happen again. So with everything that you learn, use it for yourself to build yourself back up, because you may never know what the things that you learn may help you down the road. So use it. Use it for the betterment of yourself. Use it to get you into a better place within your life. Because it's like this. There's a lot of fucked up shit out there. And also the simple fact that you had to sit there and make one of the hardest decisions within your life, and you probably feeling shitty because of that. Use the experience and knowledge that you gain from after you let that person go, so you can learn to not to do that the next time something like that happens, because there's a good chance that it may happen again, it may not. And if it doesn't happen again, use that to teach others, and actually to watch out for the signs, so that person won't have to sit there and have to deal with the same issues that you did. Because it's like this, man. If you're gonna go through all that pain, all that hurt, after you let that person go, at least don't leave empty-handed. Use that for the betterment of yourself, okay? Straight up, use that for the betterment of yourself, man. So, anyways, though, man, that's it for this episode of Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, man. So, with this episode, Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, we're into a new theme of letting them go. Whoever it is, wherever it is, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a lover and whatsoever. But one thing we all know, letting someone go is one of the hardest things you can ever fucking do. And letting them go should always be for you, and not just because of them. It should always be for you, so you can have that peace of mind. Also, there's probably many different reasons why you let the individual go. But if there is something, just make sure you remember that reason. Also, letting them go always never is something easy to do. It's always something hard to actually do. So if you let someone go, that's fine. That's okay. And remember, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt no matter what. And while you let them go, remember that the pain shall pass. Even though it still hurts, the pain shall pass. And also, as well too, all the lessons that you learn after you let them go, use this for yourself to build yourself a lot better, a lot higher, so you can be a very better person. But anyways, thank you for joining me on Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. It's been, a very fun journey. And like I said, this was a very tough episode, but we had to get through it. Anyways, make sure you sit there, enjoy me each and every Wednesday for new episodes of Deep Talk with Sony Blaze, so we can get, very deep into the conversation. And also, please let me know down in the comments what subject that you want me to actually go ahead and talk about on Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. And if I can, we're going to sit there and do it. And if not, we're going to do it on SBC discussions. There you go, the SBC discussion. Anyways, thank you for joining me on Deep Talk with Sony Blaze. And if you're not a follower, make sure you go ahead and follow me on YouTube. Peace. We're out.